What's going on, ladies and gents? Jake, aka Countdown Ended, coming to you once again. That's right, we're back live into Somewhere Weekly, WrestleMania Week Edition. And thank you, everybody. I am not alone. That's right. I am joined by the one, the only, Cody.
What's going on?
And Spaz.
Hey!
It's a menage a trois jelly sandwich.
You got me for the first 25 minutes. Then if you're live again, you'll have me for the end of the show.
I know. It's your ultimate news wrap up of the week. We're going to go over NXT, cover a bit about The Rock and what he did. Say Matt's name and he appears. And Liz, don't you worry. I've got a lot of great AI themes and karaoke bits to come. So don't you worry. And I've been recording music, so I've been actually making like legit music too, as much as I like to screw around. Actually, hold on, I got to stand up really quick because this is hilarious. So I gave my cat one of these like parfait treats that he, it's like an appetizer thing that he likes. It's like soft cat food. Even looks like it's got little shrimp in it and stuff. So I put it down and the cat goes to eat it. And then I see the dog running around with the tray in his mouth. So now I'm chasing Milo and I'm like, get over here, give me the tray. And he's running around with it. And I was going to eat an Uncrustable sandwich. I haven't eaten anything in a few days. And I was like, that sounds somewhat easy to vomit. Let's do it. So I open it. It's on my desk. I chasing the dog, come back. The cat has obliterated this sandwich, ripped it apart. The cat is covered in peanut butter and jelly. And when I tried to clean the cat flings jelly all over my pants, but I didn't realize it till I got in the car. I thought the jelly just went on the floor, but now I had jelly and I was super sticky, having to go pick up the wife. I looked like I, came in these things. It's not ideal, but what are you gonna do? That's my day. I did say one thing though. I said Joe's name, and he appeared. And one of the themes of tonight is they can't hear it anyways unless they hear themselves, and that's no fun. But they might have to deal with it for a little bit because I went hog wild on a lot of stupid and just up sounds, But that's all right. We got you here for a little bit. I don't know if you saw any of NXT, Cody. Did you?
No, I did not.
Ooh.
But I would like to. Unfortunately, I saw some clips online.
I know, usually I give you the live takes, so we'll get into NXT just in a few minutes, but I really want to start off while you're here before you have to take off shortly with this bizarre Pat McAfee interview with The Rock. He went ahead over the weekend, Spaz, and before Mania, he posted the cliche, "I'm not in said city because I'm here" kind of post.
Yeah.
And I mean, we just had Jordan Grace pulling that. I'm at my mom's birthday, and then she was at the Rumble, so we know it's not and not, it's a used cliche. It's not something that's beyond the scope of what wrestlers do. So we go ahead and flash forward a little bit. Well, look at that. He's really not there. He's not there at all, and he
sent his little brother Travis Scott.
Yeah, and what. He's like, I heard the people cheer. No, the people cheered because they heard the start of that shitty Fiend song, and we went ahead and thought The Rock was coming. Because why? Because that's what happened at the Chamber. It started with Travis Scott coming out, and then The Rock came out after. It was like we thought it was like it was it was in the dome.
I was there. They put the Chamber in the dome.
So. I told you something before we got on the air. I went ahead and I admitted how much I love you.
I wasn't there for that.
No, sorry. You ruined the fun, Cody. You showed up.
There was only enough peanut butter for two.
I'm sorry.
Me, the cat, and these fingers. So
I was trying to prepare for one of my fake accounts to.
This will be the only night I go crazy with the soundboard. I'm sorry, folks, but just. You say what?
Cody's been using all of his AI powers to do El Grande Americano video packages.
Oh, I know.
Why
Excuse me.
That was our secret. That was our fucking secret.
I'm sorry. I will make it up to you. I swear.
Now this is gonna get out to George, and then he's gonna.
Now you're gonna get fucked rotten.
Cody, don't worry about it. It's me on the internet. If I say it, people will 100% not believe it. People are upset with me. People are upset with me that I posted a positive review of WrestleMania weekend.
I'm going to make it so you guys can only hear yourselves slightly, but you got to join in the fun. I'm sorry. I have to include you. If you're not in the fun of the goddamn annoying sounds, and only the audience is dealing with it, and that's no fun. So we'll go ahead, and you guys won't forever be in a hyper loop. I'll just lower you down so it's only a little mildly distracting, but that's okay.
All right. Cool.
See, that should be better. Go ahead. Let's
check 1, 2, 3.
It's not as bad, right?
I can hear myself.
You're gonna hear yourself. It's just,
good.
yeah. It's gonna be a little annoying, just for a little bit while I go ahead and fuck around, because if you don't get to experience the clips,
I am not gay. I have relationships with women and sex with men.
right? If you can't enjoy and experience what I've planned for you two, then motherfuckers, you're in for a wild ride. Okay, it's time to begin. So, like I said, I'm only doing this tonight, folks. It's not going to last long.
Any banana stuff? Or,
Oh, don't jump the gun, you. All right, I'm getting through the dad jokes.
You know, because you've done the Undertaker thing, I have to ask you the brain teaser of the day.
Please do.
What's the difference between a grandfather clock and a grandmother clock?
The
dong.
Look at that.
Hey.
I'm gonna get in trouble with this thing. So, we had a pretty much a revealing stake. I told you before the show that somebody I know was into merch and happened to just confirm that the order had to be specifically routed through The Rock and his people and lawyers, because he had to approve it, because he earned the right to be given his name back when he got in on the TKO board. They said, here you go. So he owns all intellectual properties for The Rock now. So when they say on the shirt, The Rock, finally The Rock has come back, you know, that unfortunately had to be approved at least at the very minimum a month in advance. Yes, they can go ahead and start pre-orders and put it up on WWE Shop, and like they did with the Punk stuff. So it was released that night, but you didn't get it for a month and a half. That, not so much. Yeah, the crock. I agree, Paul. But shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you guys for hanging out and dealing with my madness. I know I'm a little crazy at times, and I just feel like every time I take Abilify, it helps. I get terrible cramps, but all right, no, seriously. I'm gonna go nuts with this thing. I'm sorry, guys. I did warn you.
Are you ready for this Sunday night when WWE Champ John Cena?
All right, so.
Ruined the WrestleMania Night 2 main event.
Yes, he did. He did. He absolutely did. And, you know, too much of a good thing is bad, but we got none. We didn't get any build up at all, and it was gravely disappointing. We really didn't.
The Rock said that Cody Rhodes and John Cena could handle it themselves. He didn't need to be a part of the story, which is the stupidest thing I've ever heard, because he's the fucking main part of this story.
So legitimately, The Rock had to approve the T-shirt that was made, because it was already there physically for people to buy. You know, there was tons of them at all the merch stands. 1, 2, the call that supposedly he made to both Cody and Cena, bullshit. Take it as what may, whatever you hear it from, it seems like a total crock of shit.
We don't talk to Cena. He still has hate for him.
And you could tell no one was happy with The Rock. No one brought him up in the Hall of Fame. No, it just continually all weekend, his name was kind of the other persona non grata in Voldemort. So I was amused to hear him basically sound like Hulk Hogan with his ego. I mean, it seems like he ruined the weekend on purpose. I agree, Paul. It feels vindictive in a way, because what he did at the Chamber was so unnecessary when the plan was for Cena to turn heel at WrestleMania. This was confirmed by Triple H. He said the original plan was John and Cody would have a face-to-face build for Mania, which I think would have been much better, because John cuts great promos as a face still, because he acted like a heel but wasn't yet. But I think John should have gotten irritated a little bit as time went on. Cody gets the best of him. He turns heel at Mania because he's not able to keep Cody down. 1 AA, 2 AA, 3 AAs. He kicks out, you know. You go ahead, you get this man down on the ground. He's still kicking out. What are you going to do? So that's when the ref's down. He kicks him in the balls. He hits him with the title. He was supposed to turn at Mania. Think about how excited you were. I was. You were there in the dome. They put the chamber.
The chamber in the dome.
It was there. And that night was incredible. The highs that I felt, because like I said, it transcended wrestling. It brought fans all over back. Yes.
Was better than WrestleMania 41.
Mm-hmm. I would say that because of the way they built everything and how it was handled. I mean, well, there's parts of WrestleManias that I loved, mostly night 2. Like the first 4 to 5 matches were great,
Elimination
but
Chamber was probably one of the best pay-per-views they've done in years.
it was really damn good.
It was. I'll say on the bias side of things,
It was damn good.
Being there is always makes it a little bit biased, but it was pretty fucking good. And for me not being in the dome in 23 years, they put the chamber in the dome, staring at the empty back wall because they didn't quite sell out the dome.
Yeah.
Let me just say,
Only a little bit.
That was a little bit of a bummer. It's not WrestleMania 18.
Not
let me
yet.
just say that.
Not yet, and that's kind of the thing.
We'll say though, I'll flip this on a high note though.
Yes.
Because they tried to put the chamber in the dome, and now they're throwing the War Games cage in the middle of a baseball field,
which is incredible. So
that's gonna look weird. I think.
I think the way they'll do it, they've done it at other baseball stadiums. I bet you they can make it look really cool.
I think it'll look cool, but like
they did the Rumble at one not that long ago.
Yeah. Oh no, the Rumble thing is always cool because they use the dugouts. As
for them to connect.
Which I think is always an interesting thing. I like, and we talk about the smaller venues for NXT and we talk about the larger venues for the bigger pay-per-views. I think I pretty much like wrestling in anything but an arena now.
Yeah.
Like, because you're so used to, like, every arena is different, but like more or less it's a square or circular building with a ring plopped in the middle, whereas a ball diamond looks different. A football diamond isn't a thing. Football
I knew what you meant though.
It is a different kind of thing. When we see it in the smaller venues, not necessarily the greatest venue tonight, if you want me to give you a little bit of a spoiler for the NXT content, but we've seen some pretty interesting buildings. We've seen TNA run some pretty interesting buildings, and to me at this point, anything that's not a regular arena is just eye-catching, and it's one of those, even if the show sucks, the aesthetic of it is there.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Because the aesthetic really is what matters. It's the overall grandiose feel, making it feel larger than life. And that's why WrestleMania had, these highs, because it was in front of that mass amount of people. I got the Joe Hendry, covering my face right now for a specific reason. And that's because people are saying, well, this shirt was there and they didn't know he was going to be. The shirt was already for sale. It was for him being at WWE World. He was at WrestleMania doing signings and everything already. So that's been debunked, unfortunately. But yeah, Petco Park is an open air stadium. So that, I don't know. They don't always suck now, the way they've been able to mic things. It's gotten different. And this was a damn good NXT show.
Stadium for Mania, so
yes.
They didn't. And I love Mania. If anybody heard my podcast, I rambled about it for an hour and a half. Just
yes, you did.
Solo.
I'm halfway through, so
nice.
Yes, I gotta finish it.
Yes, listen to the podcast for an example of why I'm always better with a co-host.
That's why I don't like to work alone.
as much as I lost my train of thought now. As much as I loved Mania, they don't have the typical fallout for a WrestleMania that they have, where you just didn't hear the sound properly because it's an open air stadium and all the sound went out the roof. They don't exactly have that. And
no.
Allegiant has that huge weird back window thing that looks strange. It looks like the back window
glass
of a car.
Yeah, it's strange.
Like
I agree.
The back window of a car.
It's a hatchback. A little bit of sad news. I thought you were going to be more upset, because NXT no longer has TakeOver. It's TakeOver Perth for the main roster. So it's going to be SmackDown, then TakeOver, then Raw, which is kind of interesting. But they're calling it TakeOver Perth, or is it just the TakeOver of Perth?
No, it's WWE TakeOver Raw.
I know it is, and I just had to have you say it so I could burn it in your soul more.
Oh.
I know how bad you wanted that TakeOver name, goddammit. But now you can just, fucking say it. It sucks. I know, it hurts.
But in the year of Al Bundy 2025, we didn't get to keep TakeOver, but we got to keep what's it called? Worlds collide.
Yeah. Put it this way, too. No, Paul's right. Never forget when Sting wrestled at Mania in broad daylight and then lost. I mean, yeah, you see an Undertaker and Bray Wyatt come out and it's like sundown barely. That was uncomfortably bright. You know, creepy.
There's some early days. I will say this, and I'm not just saying this to be contrarian.
No.
But like, if you go to like early days of Undertaker's career, there's some pretty cool daytime entrances that he.
Oh
did.
yeah, even WrestleMania 9, even terrible
Where he
match,
comes
but
out with the Vulture.
Vulture, that's 9.
Vulture?
Yeah, at in Vegas, absolutely. That's why it was stuck in my head. But I went ahead.
The documentary. I didn't.
Yes, it was a very fun watch because of the fact that they don't accept camera people being backstage at that time. They're like, what is this for? Why are you like, you're breaking kayfabe? Like, people are getting legitimately pissed and uncomfortable. You see Undertaker be like, what is this for? Like, they're mad. And it was just a really like eye-opening in you know, affair. It was a bit of a journey.
People are mad that they're doing that show now. What is it, like
Unreal,
where they're gonna like talk about
that is what I've always wanted. I wanted to see how this works. Absolutely.
I don't see. Here's my thing: is like, I get that it's a tricky thing because fans want WWE to keep kayfabe while we talk about anything but kayfabe.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of hypocrisy on the fan side with that. I probably won't watch it because I don't want to see, you know, like how the sausage is made, so to speak. But I don't hate that it exists because
I get that.
I have this magical ability to like not watch it.
That is a superpower in this day and age, and you know,
I've told you about my youngest brother who's just getting into more into the wrestling now than he would have admitted before.
He's
one of his entry points was Dark Side of the Ring, right?
Exactly.
And it's like, oh, did you watch this season? Did you watch last season? And I'm like, no. Wrestling is my escape. It's my therapy. It's my hobby. It's my excuse to be on YouTube or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna dedicate myself to a show that's only dedicated to showing the bad side of this thing it's called the Dark Side of the Ring. It's not called.
It's not always bad, but see, I like it because of how informative it is. Like, you know, you take the Owen Hart incident, but that was, you know, 2 hours of meticulous detail and a lot of events that I didn't know that transpired and personal testimony. So a lot of it is of a negative nature, but I on the other hand am opposite of you, and that's what I love about wrestling because it is so subjective. You know, Maki Ito's taking on Mickey James, and then
anybody's wrong.
Certainly not.
I'm not saying anybody's wrong, but it's just like,
but they're wrong
from my side of the coin. It's like when you watch a really good movie and you're like, I really enjoyed that movie, and somebody immediately comes along and it's like, oh, well, I was in the writer's room and did you know that we could have had this, and this, but it was stymied at the last minute. And I'm like,
oh yeah.
Is it your goal to make me not like the thing that I just put my money down on and enjoyed?
Yeah, they're fighting hard. I mean, the writer's room show is certainly a next level concept.
I think it's a cool idea. I don't think I need to watch it.
Yeah, and that's not for everyone. That's what I enjoy. Just like AEW's not for everyone. I know I probably get the ambulance called on me for that one, but I'm on the opposite camp, but that's what I said. That's one of the main things I love about wrestling because there's so many different types and characters and people. There's something literally out there for everyone. You know, wrestling is for everyone, and not in a DEI sense.
I just hate the people that you see on there that are so precious. It's like, oh, isn't anything sacred anymore? Isn't anything like kept behind the curtain anymore? And it's like that same person is like, oh, well, this person's contract is up on November 5th, and this person's contract isn't up until the 9th. So they might show up on Raw, but they won't show up until SmackDown. It's like, you're doing what the show is doing. You're just mad that they're doing it too.
Exactly.
You think in your outside position, you want to be thought of as an insider, but you're not.
Hey, what do you know?
We're not news guys.
No, I can talk to a guy that puts chips in a vending machine. Jesus Christ, that's my biggest source, you know? Although I will say that was the guy that told me. He was like, he bet me his life on that year, and I told my certain boss to run with that story that the Undertaker is not having a match at that Mania. That's huge, and we knew that months in advance. I was like, put that out now, and nope, sat on it, and then it didn't happen. You know, he didn't have a match, and we were right.
I've got breaking news for you.
Do you?
King Kong Bundy does not have a match at this year's All In.
But Butterbean might.
Oh, fuck me.
Yeah, that was a disaster, him and Minoru Suzuki. But I want to go back to the original, before I do that, actually, Cody, what is your thought on all the backstage stuff? What do you think, personally about those type of shows? Peeling back the curtain.
I like it personally. I'm always interested in that. Like when they did the WWE 24 documentaries when they used to, I always liked the behind the scenes of like WrestleMania days, everyone preparing. I've always liked it, so I don't.
I'm the same way
about it. If you don't want kayfabe to die, then just don't watch it. The show's not for you. Like,
Exactly. I agree with your take and Spaz's take, and you can stay with it and keep it alive.
I don't mind necessarily the documentaries. Sorry, I might have misspoken there. My response was more specifically to the stuff like Dark Side of the Ring, because
the negative, yeah.
It's got a certain lean to it. If I end up watching a 24 on this year's WrestleMania, then cool. I'll see some odds and sods behind the scenes, like Judgment Day fucking around and playing ping pong or something like that. Like, I'd rather watch that. Oh, the plane ride from hell. Do you know that all those wrestlers that you loved as a kid were all assholes, and therefore you're an asshole? Like,
yeah, how dare you not know that?
That's the kind of shit that I need.
Exactly. No, and I see. It's not the drama, but it's the connection that I get into, because you get to know these people, and it's not even parasocial. It's not like you want to be there. You just get to know them on a deeper level, and a lot of times it helps further their character or further your connection with them. There's a few times, and I am very high and very exhausted. I'm running on fumes. I feel like I'm walking through quicksand. I am going to toot my own horn.
If we're going to get Katie Vick in the Hall of Fame.
She if anybody should go in,
hey,
you deserve it. You deserve it. Katie Vick should abso-fucking-lutely go in the Hall of Fame. You know why? Triple H got to go in, and he was in her.
Oh my goodness! But here's the thing: we need to start inducting props into the Hall of Fame.
Oh,
I'm not kidding.
Like Mae Young's hand, the SmackDown fist.
Mae Young's hand, SmackDown fist, Undertaker's urn, maybe MVP's like inflatable tunnel entrance thing, and then Katie Vick.
Yeah,
after we clean her up a little bit.
Vince's dried defecation.
Oh,
it's left all around the office, apparently. It's everywhere.
Tessa Blanchard's jar of farts.
No, that's a...
I think Tessa Blanchard should join.
Yeah, holy
Paul
shit,
Heyman
indeed.
faction.
Barry Horowitz Memorial Tournament. There we go. Come on, Pico. Now you're cooking with gas or nitrous. Either or, folks. So I got to pull up this article because it is so... It's not being hyperbolic is the wrong word here, because they're right, but it's just, it exemplifies the focus, and because they're like, oh, WrestleMania, it was a train wreck basically, but now they're saying John Cena's train wreck. They kind of they've curtailed their opinion a bit. But this is from Bleacher Report. They said, blame The Rock for John Cena's train wreck WWE WrestleMania 41 win versus Cody Rhodes. They said, we got the right result in the main event by having a heel John Cena beat Cody Rhodes for the promotional title. Unfortunately, everything around the match was historically bad. Funny, we've been saying that all fucking weekend. And frankly, point the finger right at The Rock. The fact that the match between Cena and Rhodes was so-so wasn't all that shocking, considering the part-time status of one of the combatants. See, I don't think that's the case. I think Cena could have put on a much better match. It wasn't because he wasn't physically able to. That's the story they were given. The Rock came back in at Elimination Chamber, which this gets into, but it took Travis Scott to stop Cody Rhodes. Cody has been obliterated.
I'm going to stop you there for a second, and I'm going to give you a hot take.
Please.
And this is going to especially be a hot take after how much we praised last year's main event.
Yes.
With Cody and Roman, because that was everything in the kitchen sink, right?
Yeah.
This year, a lot of people are saying didn't make any sense. Rock wasn't there. The match was dumb. Right? Now,
yes.
You can say that The Rock not being there didn't make sense, but if the quality of the match depends on
after I have to go.
All right, but we'll take you off in a little bit. Sorry, continue, sir.
No, I'm developing a thought as we go here.
I'm on the hype train, the thought train, all aboard, choo choo.
But basically what I'm saying is like, oh, it was a good match. We just didn't get the interference we wanted. That's we're going into a dangerous territory with that, where if the quality of the match between two guys depends on the interference or not interference of an outside person, then it's not that good a match. And if we were if the whole hype of that match going into it before we knew what it was going to be was, gee, I wonder who's going to interfere. Like last year was wholly unique because we knew it was going to be a special stipulation that was going to invite all kinds of interference. It was going to invite everybody that had been involved in this gigantic story and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
But
Sorry, I jumped on your thought train and I almost went deaf. Jesus Christ. Sorry.
Anyway. But yeah, no, I just like last year was sort of a special exception, I guess you would say. But going forward, and we do this on like special episodes of Raw, special episodes of SmackDown, minor pay-per-views along the way as well, where we're not thinking about the match at all. We've already hopped past the match to who could interfere, what could happen afterwards, who's going to mess it up, who's going to get them disqualified, whatever.
And I get being over analytical and creating storylines, and if you're disappointed,
right? But if the match rises or falls based on whether a person not in the match interferes, then the match isn't that great.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying anything against Cena or against Cody or even against the booking necessarily.
Oh, the booking.
If we're looking at,
fucked.
The booking was fucked. Don't get me wrong, but.
They even say here, once Scott's music hit and it was apparent it wasn't going to blend to The Rock's music, everybody just kind of started to feel the air sucked out of them. And that's a great quote, and that's the truth. That's basically what I wanted to say, is that they did themselves dirty too, because last time at the Chamber, in the Dome, they put it in the Dome. We went ahead and we had them go ahead, oi, 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 and managed to surprise everybody because it was Travis Scott's music into the Rock song. You know, they did the transition. So everybody's neck for 10 minutes of this main event was so stretched out.
But it was the other way around. That's the thing. I'll tell you from being in the Dome, where they put the Chamber in the Dome, when the Travis Scott music came out first, it was what the fuck is going on that turned into a cheer. This time around, because of what happened at the Chamber, it was a cheer that turned into a what the fuck.
It really did, because
and I heard a great comparison as well.
It was because the volume just got sucked out. Like you could hear it in the crowd. They're booing.
He's coming,
and then they cheer eventually because they want to see the title change. But that was it.
Yeah, I think last year, as awesome as it was and as unique as it was, it set a dangerous precedent because one person comes down and you're already looking past them to the next one. And that's a dangerous precedent to set necessarily.
Yeah.
But also, the greatest comparison I heard was, if you watch, we all watch Family Guy, the cutaways on Family Guy.
Yes.
When Brian takes the blind guy to the movies and he has to tell him everything that's happening.
Yes.
He's like, nothing's happening.
Nothing's happening. Oh my God.
Nothing's happening. It's over. Everybody looks pissed.
Everybody's angry. Yeah, I know. I agree entirely. The problem is, though, like you said, that everything was contingent upon The Rock showing up, and he just had to show up. He wasn't busy. He's not filming. His schedule's open. He made himself such an integral part of all of this. He came out on fucking Raw on Netflix to, fillet himself and talk to Cody and now he's a face and no more final boss in that way. And then he goes the next night at NXT and fucks them over. He screwed over 2 matches and their time, and they don't have a fucking overrun there. They have to be at a hard out, and he screwed that up. Remember, he kept swearing.
I'll tell you. You know what's funny though? And
what?
You know how the Rock's whole "I'm 20 steps ahead" thing.
Yeah.
The Rock set the precedent for this years ago.
Oh yeah.
If you think about it,
I know what you're going to.
When he started his feud with John Cena years ago, once in a lifetime that became twice in a lifetime. How did we actually start that? We actually started that with John Cena
satellite.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. when he was the host of WrestleMania.
Oh yeah, 27.
The main event was Cena and Miz. And nobody was talking about Cena and Miz. They were talking about what's The Rock going to do.
Exactly. Then he came out, restarted the match, and then cost the match anyways for John. So it was all set up. And then the next night, they went ahead and said, hey, we'll do it a year out.
The best thing to come out of that was The Miz coming out with the bald cap as The Rock.
Yes. That was hilarious. That got me. And then poor Miz got a horrible concussion. Just Incredible is 12 steps behind. Yeah, he lost that program. Those chips are not able to be cashed in. But
I like chips.
It sucks. It really does. It sucks that The Rock, you can clearly see his ego knowing no bounds, and yet again he goes out and just trounces and craps all over whatever he wants, because it was again, he, like I said, he went on NXT, fucked around there, then he went to SmackDown, I want your soul, then we had, oh, he's going to be at the Chamber and propose everything, and then it goes, and he didn't need to do any of that. If Cena, like I said, just got to be the face, we got to Mania, if we got that reaction at that crowd
to give his stumbly bumbly speech on NXT,
yeah,
at the end of last year, that was. Yeah, and I hate to say this, I'm an NXT guy.
Yeah.
You and I first started doing content because I asked you to come onto my channel and be like my NXT co-host.
Because I was one of the rare ones watching it.
Yeah.
People said they were watching, but they weren't watching. I was watching. But
the criticisms that people had of it at the time made it blatantly obvious that, like, let's just point at a thing that says WWE and say that it's bad. Tonight, though, if I can drastically switch our gears out of nowhere, I am left wanting.
You mean into somewhere?
Yeah.
Don't fuck that up again.
Yeah, Randy Orton's gonna come and get me like he got John Cena.
Mm-hmm.
An RKO into somewhere is fantastic.
Into somewhere.
I saw what you did.
Absolutely.
I'm conflicted about tonight's show, though, and I'm switching the gears because I'm already tired and I do have a few things.
That's why I pay you the big bucks. That's why I wanted to get into the NXT review, folks. So here, you know what? I'm going to cut you off for a quick second because we're talking about NXT TV from Las Vegas, Nevada, at the Fontainebleau, Las Vegas, Nevada. That's right, we're still in Vegas, but this is the last time for a little while. We get the hell out of Sin City. It is April 22nd, 2025, and this is your NXT review. Started off white hot. Your girls are out there. Chemical X, Tatum Paxley, Gigi Dolan taking on Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. We'll get into the full recap, but I want your thoughts, not just about this match, but everything. What do you got for me?
First of all, points off for the ring level ramp.
Yeah, never a fan of that. I hated WCW-esque ramp. Hate that.
Yeah. And it's funny because people used to say that I only picked on that when it was an AEW thing. Nope. I don't like it when TNA does it. I don't like it when NXT does it. And if WWE ever for some reason does it, I won't like it there either. I think it's weird. I think it's awkward. I think it makes the place look really claustrophobic in all the wrong ways.
Yeah.
And the crowd, I know they were in a theater, and I know a theater is set up a certain way, so basically all the crowd was on one side. The way they shot this show made the crowd look tiny, and the gigantic stage that they built only made the crowd look smaller.
Yeah. It wasn't a great production mindset. Yeah, I was a bit baffled. It was a swing and a miss.
I did it in front of a bigger group of people. The stage they had would have looked awesome.
Absolutely.
And so it's like a half compliment. I wish that they had shot it to the back, like when they shot from the ramp into the crowd, and you could see people in the balconies because it is a theater and all that kind of thing. It's not surrounding crowd. When you shot from that angle from the stage at that back wall, it looked fantastic. But they hardly ever did that.
Yeah, they didn't go to that often.
They didn't go to that often. They only really did it.
That was a really cool shot too, because like you said, it fully lined up with where they were trying to go. So it had like this great, like it was a unique angle, anyways, from where it was.
It was a tunnel. It was a tunnel vision
like
shot
ramp shot.
Of the crowd. Yeah, but like the way they were shooting to the side, it only looked like there was like one or two rows of people.
And that's some of the stuff that AEW is getting flamed for now, because they've been saying, oh, we need to run smaller. Oh, it's okay if we run smaller arenas because it's going to be more intimate. But they're in a place that holds 9,000 and they only got 2,000 tickets sold for Dynamite. Yep. You know, it's. I don't want to see them do bad. I want to see them be interesting. But what story does anyone give a shit about in AEW? Is there any story that you like in AEW right now, honestly?
I will say nothing grabbed me last week on their big celebratory, like, fuck off Bischoff show that they did.
Yeah.
But for their audience, and right now their audience is even giving up on them, and that I don't feel bad for AEW. I feel bad for the AEW fans that are still actually invested in that product that are slowly like withering away. Like the ones that just not the ones that are being dickheads about it, but the ones that genuinely want to enjoy it.
Yeah, because that was a big dish of self-serving bullshit.
It was. And I mean,
it doesn't even quantify or qualify for comparison's sake because, all right, WCW, you surpassed. But if they had a billionaire backer that gave them unlimited funds, like, Ted Turner could have just said, here, take everything, it wouldn't have mattered. They could have kept going. They would have kept going. It's because they were down 60 million. But hey, if they had that influx, but besides that, they were doing, 10 to 15 times your viewership on their lowest viewership night.
I will do.
They would get 5 to 8 million viewers some nights. It was insanity for how popular wrestling was.
I will do you one better. If the three major American wrestling companies were on equal financial footing, TNA would kick the shit out of AEW.
I believe so. Yeah. If they all had the same ability because of the way that things are booked there and handled. Yeah, Hendry, if my bank wasn't negative right now, I would absolutely be jumping on that shirt right there. That's right. That thing is beautiful.
Anyway, what I wanted to say,
yes, please.
For the ones that aren't dickheads, for the ones that are just like, oh, I like this thing and it's kind of falling on its face right now, the fans that I actually do feel bad for, it seems like they felt very served by the Dynamite that they got last Wednesday.
Yeah.
I don't see it personally. They buried Athena.
They thought the Joe win was enough, bud. That's all. They thought the Joe win was enough. Really, that's all. That was the positive of the entire night. Everything else was heat and negatives. The only positive was Samoa Joe and one random person being forced under their team in Powerhouse Hobbs winning a trios title that don't mean shit, and everybody ate it up.
All the things. I will say, I'm happy for the people that enjoyed their show last week. But for the ones that just go along to get along and want to enjoy their show,
they loved MJF offering hookers and blow to the the Hurt business or whatever syndicate.
They loved the fact that Athena was on Dynamite until she got rolled up by Mercedes, because who didn't see that coming? They loved the debut of Josh. They loved the debut of Josh Alexander until he got squashed by the emo cowboy and then got put in the Callis family for reasons.
Because now he could be a heel, which is fine, but now he's got to really go ahead and
now there's two former
get more
Destiny. Heat. Now there's two former Destiny stars checking off their Spaz Phoenix bucket list in AEW, and it makes me sad.
Yeah, I mean,
well, Josh Alexander and Speedball.
Mm-hmm. And Speedball, I'm
what's
not.
Speedball doing right now?
I'm not a huge fan of his, but I mean, this is kind of the thing that I'm worried about with these people coming back, like Rusev, like Black. Saints is different because he's on NXT and he's a young star and he's got more time. And these guys are not the end of their careers, but like the later middle half at least. These guys have been working for a long time.
What I love right now is WWE is actually starting to be as petty as they've been accused of being, which is awesome. And they are going to put everything they have into everybody that comes in. Cody, Punk, Penta, Phoenix, Ethan,
Rusev,
Ricky, Rusev, Alistair, probably Paige, probably Britt Baker.
Yeah.
Probably Britt Baker. I mean, we could
actually Britt Baker I heard was kind of not really being considered. They were viewing her allegedly as more problematic than she's worth.
Yeah, but she could have come in and fixed Tiffany's face after the Charlotte match.
And she did chip her tooth, I guess. So that sucks. It was indeed her chipping it.
The ones that I saw were like where it was stained over.
Yeah.
To the point where it looked chipped. And I hope it wasn't. Like, we don't want to see that.
Absolutely not. But still, terrible that that's the way it went down.
It would kind of do a little bit in her favor for the dumbass, like, superficial people out there that still think she's just a Barbie doll.
Yeah. I mean, Stand and Deliver was fantastic. I loved that show. I saw it get like a B grade, and I'm like, yeah, that's fair. Like an 8 out of 10. That's perfect.
I made a very controversial statement over on the Wrestling for Life guys chat tonight while we were watching NXT. I liked WrestleMania more than most people.
More
I
than
think it's
most,
fair to
yes.
say.
Well, judging by the half of your podcast that I've heard
Yeah.
so far, which everybody make sure you go ahead and check that out as well.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
As much as I like WrestleMania, I think I like the bookends more. I think at the end of the day, it's nighttime. But at the end of the day, I think the highlights of WrestleMania weekend are Stand and Deliver and the Raw after Mania.
Okay, yeah, I could feel that. I understand that.
I don't know that I 100% believe that, but I have that thought right now.
And I also put your podcast in the chat. I'll have it in the description box down below as well for people that aren't watching this live and after the fact. But make sure you go ahead and check it out. I always have all your information, but I didn't have your most recent video, so now that's in there as well.
That's okay. Your paycheck's in the mail.
Oh, thank you, sir. I had to dock Cody. He had to leave early, so.
Getting back to the beginning of this, kind of disheartening way to start the show. I thought it would have been really cool with the way they've been hot potatoing the tag titles all weekend. For them to actually land in NXT would have been cool. For them to be on Chemical X would have been cool.
Yeah. Once they did the rematch and you saw what happened, I'm like, oh, they're never going to win those titles now. Going into WrestleMania Sunday, I thought Liv and Raquel were going to retain and then lose the titles on Tuesday. Now what we got, and I kind of like what we have, because now we have the three of them in Judgment Day with belts. Finn doesn't have a belt. He's, fawning over the IC title. Back. JD is getting a ton of hype.
Story aside for a second, good to see him back.
Absolutely.
He fucking wrecked himself. And
he almost killed himself.
I showed you the new jacket that he's got. It's like the X-ray, but there's an X over the rib that he broke.
Yeah, which is cool.
And his name across the bottom of the jacket is Iron Lung.
Yeah, he's just fucking he's a badass. The fact that he finished that match really put him over. And this match, the women's tag that opened the show wasn't bad. It was good.
It was a good showcase for Tatum and Gigi.
Yeah.
Liv, let's be real. Liv is over as hell. Raquel is along for the ride. I'm happy for Liv. Don't get me wrong. Would have been really cool to see my girls get a shot.
This is one of the things I said last night, Spaz, because you weren't here, but we went ahead and mentioned how, think about the Riot Squad all those years ago.
Yeah.
Liv was not the one we would put our money on, certainly. Liv was usually dead last in that. Sarah was in the middle for whatever reason, but everybody thought Ruby Riot would be it. And push comes to shove, goddamn.
Like, Ruby Riot was clearly the leader, and she had, like, that leadership character glint in her eye, whatever you want to say, and I like Ruby Riot, obviously, or Ruby Soho, I guess, as she is now. There was something about Sarah, because she didn't stick out, she stuck out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why she usually fell middle of the pack. But
she's gonna go at Rumble time. She's gonna be one of those ones that makes an entrance. Nobody really gives it too much a hoofah, and then she's gonna go put in like a workhorse effort.
Yeah. And but here's the thing. So she's improved drastically. Even if you think back to her match, I think it was 2017 or 19 when she had with Charlotte when they did the State of the Union address for SmackDown, and she freaked out and she was like, "I'm going to fight for myself," and she had that really short match. And yes, Liz did indeed call Joe Hendry. That we'll get into a little bit. That was a great moment from tonight. And guys, please let us know what your favorite moment and match of the night was. But yeah, I wanted to see them win. And once I saw last night why they did it the way they did, so they had to go ahead and have Liz
didn't come out with them tonight as well. Like, I'm sure there's a logistical reason. But...
Maybe, but what was upsetting too is that. So I understood the story, and because originally I was like, well, that's ridiculous. Why have them lose the titles? And it's like, okay, so they're going to have them gain them right back because Becky, if they're like, just do it at Mania the turn. Well, no, then Becky's a unjustified asshole. You need to have some justification. And what is that? You two just got those tag belts. You just became women's tag champions. And
Becky
then
looks at it as you lost them the next night.
Yeah, Lyra, you cost me these goddamn belts. I helped you win them. You cost me them. What the fuck is wrong with you, girl? And she whooped her ass. And so it made perfect sense for them to drop the belts to do that because they didn't have a better way to turn Becky heel. How would they have? They couldn't bring her back as a heel. The crowd would have rejected it. They needed to have her flip out over something. It was a great story. I give them credit for it. It worked. I was upset beforehand that Liv lost the title at Mania because I wanted to see her in Judgment Day with the belts to go. We got it again. That's why I said I'm gonna hold out and wait and see what happens. Sometimes.
What I love is like simultaneously everybody was mad that Bayley got removed, and then they were mad that Becky and Lyra won, and then they were mad that Lyra was a double champion. But I'm like, okay, let's feel this out for a second.
Let's break this down for a second. Yeah.
Something that got lost in the shuffle, right? Stephanie Vacour became a double champion. They handled it the right way. She went in one night, defended both belts, decided to do something for the betterment of the division. We got the ladder match. Sol Ruka got her thing, whatever.
Let's let Spaz cook.
There's still a women's double champion in WWE that nobody's talking about.
Yeah. Chelsea Green.
No.
No?
No.
No?
Sol Ruka.
Oh.
Because
Okay, but
she's the NXT North American champion and she's the WWE Speed champion.
see, I thought you were going to talk longer. Now I'm choking on popcorn. God damn it! You ruined the bit.
That's not popcorn.
God damn it! Not again. So, damn cumsicles. I knew it was going to be a problem. I knew it. Jesus. I was on board, but then, like you said, fell a little bit apart. Whatever. It works, but all in all, I'm happy.
But I kind of would have loved that story because Gigi and Tatum are like sort of chaotic
Yeah,
characters.
I wanted them to have the belts.
Oh my God! Look at how much turmoil these belts have been through all weekend long, and of all people, they landed on this ramshackle team in NXT. Like that's kind of a cool story.
Absolutely.
If you're gonna have a bit of chaos, have it that they end up on the chaotic team because the chaotic team thrives in chaos.
Absolutely, because I said the only way I wanted the belts to change hands was if it was Roxanne and Cora as a call-up. We didn't get that. We got something very more interesting with Julia and Roxanne attacking. So
yes, but Roxanne walking out on
Cora Jade.
So even if she's going up right now, that's still a loose thread of a story for when Cora Jade gets her call up.
Absolutely, they're just giving everybody layers. They've done an excellent job. A lot of storytelling, right?
They did a lot of really clever shit in a single match that was on a kickoff to a developmental pay-per-view on Saturday.
Incredible.
That's what I'm saying. Stand and Deliver was one of the bookends of WrestleMania weekend.
They even made the Pat McAfee show yesterday like required viewing for Raw. Like they're doing a great job at threading these narratives together. Like you heard Paul Heyman say on there, someone's like, "You need more meat," and he's like, "Then I better go shopping." And that day he had Ron Breakker. You know, it applies. It works. It's yeah, it's fun.
Now all the speculation of who else could be joining this group.
Seems like Becky Hogan's going in by the talk of the internet. Jesus.
Here's the thing. Here's what people thought I was crazy for, and I got told I was crazy less than an hour ago for. Right? You want to call it not including Heyman, but if you want to say like 4 guys, right? Say oh they're doing Evolution, right? So what do you have? You have the brains, you have the muscle, you have a blue chipper, and you have somebody with charisma, right?
Yes.
So how about this? Rollins as Triple H. Obviously Breakker as Batista. Randy Orton and Ric Flair. I'm stretching a little bit here. Theory and Waller.
There we go. They're great heels.
There's you got the brain, you got the brawn, literally.
Yeah, literally.
You got a blue chipper and you got a charisma guy.
I want to see the roast so bad. Hearing Paul Heyman say to Braun, "You're not on WrestleMania because you suck," is just so good. That I love roast jokes and comedy like that.
There was some random guy that's like, I spent all night standing next to Braun Strowman, and Braun Strowman looks like somebody poured racism into a boot.
That's great. Oh my God. That's a line. That's an epic line, I guess. But
it is a good line.
It's a little bit confusing who's being called up and who's not, you know. And like you said, Sol Ruka, I feel like they paid attention to tonight. She's gotten a ton of hype over the internet this past weekend for everything she accomplished.
I really like her. I really like her.
She had her asshole out on that show, Spaz. Her asshole was out.
That's fine. That's allowed.
It was more than fine. And I forgot who someone else's asshole was out tonight too. Whose was it? I forget. No, it was Tatum's. Her asshole was out as well tonight too. She was donning the black thong of the asshole leak.
I found out why Booker T says "shucky ducky quack quack."
Really?
He had to censor it for TV, and it's really sucky fucky whap whap.
Wow, that's crazy. This whole time I didn't know why the fuck he had it, but it makes sense. Dirty old bastard.
I may have made that up. Anyways, yeah, it sucks that Chemical X didn't win.
No, really?
I want Liv. No, but here's the thing. You want to piss on Finn Balor's chips for not winning the IC title. What better way to do that than if two people in Judgment Day have an IC title?
Yeah. No, you're right about that.
They can, Liv and Dom can be the intergender, intercontinental tag team champions.
I liked when they did the mixed matchup and
Mixed match challenge?
Yeah, mixed match challenge. There we go. I wish they could do more intergender stuff.
If you go through the career mode on 2K25, there is a mixed tag.
Yeah, and you have to beat the hell out of some women, and people were like, "Oh, that's so wrong and uncomfortable." I'm like, "It's a video game."
There's a title.
Yeah.
There's a mixed tag title in the 2K25.
I'm just saying people were complaining that you were beating up women and the fact that it was like, "Oh, it's gross." I'm like, "It's a video game."
Yeah, but
do you obey the traffic signs in Grand Theft Auto?
Yeah, but a really shitty, out of date redhead comic can behead a president, but we can't, beat up video game characters. Just saying.
I agree.
Tell you what I did like as far as beating the shit out of people.
What's that?
I really do like the fact that NXT took a minute tonight to show the highlights from Bloodsport on Thursday.
That was what I was going to get into next. That was my my next bit of notes here. I thought that was incredible that we saw a GCW recap on NXT TV. Like, wow. And we should say, obviously, Liv and Raquel defeated Chemical X, Gigi, and Tatum. It was basically a decent match. Like you said, it was a showcase for Gigi and Tatum. They looked great, but Raquel hit Gigi with a great, Texana bomb. And then Liv takes out Gigi with Oblivion. I love that move, too. It looks just so cool. Like
Lyra Valkyria sold the Oblivion on Raw like crazy.
She spiked herself. She went ahead and got probably the best sell of that Oblivion to date. The crowd was pretty dead for this match, though. I think, like us, they were just like, no, it's another foregone conclusion. And unfortunately, they never once bit into anything that Gigi or Tatum did, really. They knew that they weren't going to win. And that's unfortunate, because if they didn't have that fucking match last night, I know tonight they would have been white hot, because they thought they had a chance up until they didn't.
Yeah.
Lexus King got his cup back.
The one thing about the women's titles, they're the belt that floats over all three brands. It never feels like it's going to change.
No,
NXT.
Certainly. I agree.
The more they do it, the more they make it feel like, oh, we're the champions, which means we can just drop by and visit NXT when we feel like it, as opposed to it being anything of a legitimate. Like, there's more chance of a women's tag team in NXT getting the TNA Knockouts tag titles.
No, I agree, and that's kind of a sad state of affairs if that's the case.
And that could happen at Rebellion. Tune in later this week when Jake and I preview Rebellion.
That's right. We're going to be previewing it on your channel tomorrow, and it should be up either tomorrow night or Thursday morning. I'll be sure to share that as well. And then this Sunday, you and I will be live for the Rebellion review. We'll be talking about everything that goes down this Sunday. It's a pretty damn stacked card. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
I think we got a hint tonight of something, but we'll get there when we get there.
Yes, we did. We got a little bit, but we built up here. We saw Lexus King. He got his cup back, and he's going to face a mystery opponent, Penn and Teller told him. Okay, it was a good setup.
Anybody else that thought, oh, Penn and Teller took the belt away, and when it came back, it was going to be a belt?
No,
they're not using the Heritage Cup rules anymore.
Yeah, I thought they were just going to kind of quietly be like, oh, it's gone now. Yeah. Honestly, which I didn't want to see it go away, but they because they're not using the rules and they really haven't been treating it with the respect and serious gravitas that it once had. I feel like, hey,
there's still less mid-card titles on NXT than there are in other places.
Granted. So Ricky Saints comes out and gets adored by the crown. Yeah, that he wears is heavy, but he holds that crown high. And he said to everybody that he's, I'm gonna go ahead. I walked into Mania weekend with I got a huge bang by successfully beating Ethan Page. He said, I'm defending the championship, a man who will forever be a thorn in my side. I made good on my promise, and then Lexus King comes out, cuts him off. He does his usual smarmy, smug prick stuff. It was fun. And
it's continuing, Jake.
is it?
It's continuing.
Oh, no.
The Tony Fumble Rumble is continuing.
Is it? Now what do we get?
We go from Ricky Starks to shitting on Ethan Page to being interrupted by Brian Pillman Jr.
I love it. And I was going to
It's
go
so
ahead
good.
and say, because like, he just does it so well. Him being that smarmy, just asshole, that asshat, that prick, that rotten cocksucker.
I love that he's soaking in the Tony Fumbles chance, and then he comes out in interviews like, "Come on, guys, let's be nice."
Well, Saints, like you went ahead and it's like you lost your chance. You know, you're writing checks. Your little ass can't cash. And he's like, basically you're a special one, and you should look past this week. And he's like, all right, fine, you're on. So they're gonna go ahead and have a title match, which is cool. I'm excited to see those two.
Title for title,
Except a little bit later, it got they did brawl, and everybody took time to pull them apart. And that's when Lexus King is out there, and Noam Dar returns.
I really like this.
He's a good wrestler. I don't give two shits about him. I know. I've had this opinion for years when he was in the cruiserweights division when it was a 205 Live and so forth. It's now that he's bad in the ring. I don't know. It was like negative personality for me. I just didn't click. I like his wrestling, but it's just
He's gone from being a shithead to finding like a comedy group that started out as being annoying to like Metaphor, like everything else in NXT, sort of became endearing after a while.
Yeah,
I'll give him credit because like the Heritage Cup, who the fuck gives a shit, right?
Yeah.
The only person, since they brought it to regular NXT, it's a different story when they did it in NXT UK when it was like the proper like let's treat it seriously thing, right? But since NXT UK closed and Noam Dar showed up in regular NXT and brought the cup with him,
yeah, took it back.
He's the only guy on NXT that has made me believe that cup is important to him.
Yes, I agree, and he's a 4-time champ now. Rebellion is going to be a lot of fun, and we'll run through the card on Spaz's show tomorrow. There's going to be quite a big prediction because we still have a few to be announced, so we get to kind of speculate there. And then Joe Hendry in the triple threat main event with Paige and Kazarian.
We'll get to talk about international champion Steve Macklin.
Yes, which
that is a gorgeous belt.
It's a gorgeous belt, and I was pissed that he won. I
was pissed. I don't mind.
I liked your story. It was so good. Ace Austin that was so perfect. They ruined it, and then
I didn't get what I wanted.
No,
like let me be clear about that. But Steve Macklin's really good, and I've had the chance several times to see him in person. And
maybe that's what I'm missing because I just don't have that connection. He's another one that I just am like meh with. As we're Kazarian, I've always liked. I like Masha, even Tessa. I enjoy watching. Forget all the controversy with her. I always enjoy watching Tessa. I give you a bit of a holy shit for that one.
I give her a good Rogering.
No, there we go.
But no, it's one of those like he wasn't the one I wanted, but I'm not pissed that he's the champion. When I saw the belt, when they first revealed the belt, I initially hated it, and then within about 5 minutes I loved it because the bright blue belt is striking when you first see it.
Oh yeah, it's gorgeous.
It threw me off at first, right? Because I was like, it's bright. It made me think of when the SmackDown tag titles were like blue strapped and whatever. But no, I initially had that sort of like pullback moment, and I'm like, wait, no, this is actually pretty friggin' sick. It's a totally different look for a belt in the current age or whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got more to talk about with that tomorrow night because he's taking on Eric.
Absolutely, and
solid as well.
I am working on pulling up the belt for you, chat. Don't you folks worry on the stream. It should be loading in. Hopefully, maybe not. Maybe I gotta grab it again. Yeah, everything's crap in the bed. Can you hear me still, though? That's all that matters. So Wavelink is like a separate program for me, and that handles all the audio. And if that crashes, like yesterday, then I have to go ahead and wait 30 seconds, and it comes back, and then we're good to go. But in the interim, it's very frustrating. So I like the belt. The blue made it look very
Like old school in a way.
yes. That's what I didn't want to say retro, but that's probably the best term I'm coming up with on the exhausted mind that I have. But it gives it like a very prestigious, classic. Safe isn't the word, but like that the familiar.
Do you get the same view as me? Like, it's a brand new title. Like,
Yes.
the title itself is brand new, but the look of it is
Old.
like it's not. It's like it's not new. Like,
Yes, so that's what I'm trying to get. It's got like prestige, history.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
You
yes.
see it for the first time, and you feel like it's been around forever.
Ah, fuck yeah, buddy. That's what we're not paying you the big bucks for. But sorry, checks in the mail. I like the look of it. Like you said, instantly it felt like, oh, they've been defending that thing for years. Like it just looked like it fit in with. Now, if that was on WWE, it would look like a fruit roll-up belt kind of idea, like you said. But because of TNA, their history, their style, all of it, it fits.
And TNA
And it fits with their current titles too.
Yeah.
Look at the color
And
for their
TNA 's
main
not
title.
Yeah.
With the red
Yeah,
and stuff.
TNA's not exactly afraid, as I say, like as you're saying, to use the bright colors. Like TNA has yellow in their logo, and yellow on a belt is a risky thing because belts are gold and blah blah blah. So it's a nice one. I still have to go back and watch the pay-per-view in its full entirety.
Yeah.
By the time I got to the end of last Thursday, and that was a later show, and yeah, I know. Porn
Yeah,
video.
no,
But,
I couldn't watch it live. I was dealing with Danny in the hospital stuff. So when we got back, like the next night after SmackDown, I was trying to sleep, didn't happen. So I ended up watching the pay-per-view then. It was good. It was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Especially
in
the
all
Hendry
seriousness,
match. Honestly, I loved that match. Him and Masha were a fun team.
I don't want to say speaking of people in the hospital because that sounds shitty.
Hey,
But
that's all right. It's a good connection.
But speaking of people in the hospital, really nice to see Chris Bay
Yes.
coming out there. As Ace Austin said, on his own 2 feet.
I also wonder who Elijah's going to face because that's a mystery. So we really don't know.
I don't know because we've got TNA this week, and I think this week's episode might be live.
I
could be wrong.
thought so, but
I could be wrong. But anyways, I've diverted the conversation entirely, and I'm stealing content from tomorrow night.
well, we're previewing tomorrow night, and like Pico said, he said sometimes he's got to wait for 10 minutes for it to come back. Oh, you missed.
That's Noam Dar returning,
Yes.
getting the cup back. As I say, it is a genuine kind of like he feels like he actually gives a shit about the cup. So when he has it, I give a shit about the cup.
It is a
more.
feel-good moment, and I see why it's a feel-good moment. But to me, I was just very blasé. I'm like, it's Noam Dar. I don't give two shits.
I'm glad he's not coming out there in pigtails anymore. That really
Yeah,
helps.
he's just.
Kind of weird that he came out, especially now with how prominently the girls from Metaphor are being featured.
Yeah.
Really odd that we didn't see them, and Oro Mensah's on Evolve now.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about Stacks?
Stacks just killed Luca Crucifino. It's fine.
Yeah, he definitely set him up, and he's so now no more Luca at all, or is he going to be repackaged, or is he just going to be on what's going on?
Luca's got a role on Evolve, but also
Yeah.
he's got that weird loose connection to Chelsea Green because Chelsea Green is seeking legal counsel.
Yeah.
Is a thing that's happened on social media and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be what I said a couple of weeks ago. I think you're going to get Tony D called up to the main roster, maybe with Rizzo, and then Stacks probably runs Dark State. I don't know why I think that's a thing, but I do. Dark State took on one of the NQCC and Javon Evans tonight. I thought that was an odd pairing.
It was.
It came off the back of the footage from Bloodsport, so
which was cool. But here's the thing with the Noam Dar match, they only gave Lexus King the 4 minutes. Maybe that's all it needed. But I felt like I don't know. He's losing the title here with a cup. And with them not doing the traditional rules, all right, fine, a 4 minute match isn't bad. But realistically, I would have liked to have seen more than just the roller leg lariat and the Judas effect. But whatever.
Yeah. Everybody loves the Judas effect.
Absolutely. The crowd just seemed very zombie-ish like me. Like no big explosions. Even with Noam Dar, they really weren't going nuts. And then we had Fallon Henley against Thea Hale. So
Fallon Henley and Thea Hale, off of that exchange in the back where it was like all of Fatal Influence picking on Thea Hale while Thea Hale was hanging out with Sol Ruka and Zarya and this person and that person, and then Liv came by and Raquel came by, and it was all a mess. And somewhere in the middle, we teased that Fatal Influence might be breaking up as well.
Yes.
Jasmine Nix is getting picked on by the general public because her boyfriend said something mean.
Dun dun dun.
I don't know. It was kind of a schmoz. It really gets carried right now for me for the fact that Thea Hale being back still feels new.
Yeah.
I love the energy she brings to any situation, even if the situation itself doesn't make sense.
I keep saying a ball of crack cocaine. That girl is just a spitfire of energy. She goes absolutely haywire, and I appreciate all of it. This match was fun. It was too damn short. It did what it had to do, and I mean, Thea Hale basically got the underhook slam into the Kimura lock for the victory. I was like, "Fuck yeah, girl, get your win."
It was basically to facilitate whatever they're doing to break up Fatal Influence.
Yes,
because it was the kick from JC Jane.
She did the Yakuza kick, and then basically Hale was able to like dodge it out of the way, and then it turned into it's like, oh, then she got punched by Nix off the apron. So. Yeah. It was a cool little sequence because she dodges the kick, but then she gets punched. So it was like, oh shit, boom.
And then speaking of Thea Hale, but not really because she's already graduated, Chase U is
back.
Chase U. Yeah,
doesn't that? I mean, it's cool in one way, but doesn't it feel kind of like why'd you end it then? You know, what was it's not like it's been years and these revitalized them, revitalizing the old popular nostalgia thing. Like it just got broken up in what, October? Do you want to know what I think? And I don't think this is a bad thing. I think okay. I'm only just talking to you on a podcast. I don't want to know what you think.
I think they've realized that the Andre Chase gimmick is another one of those gimmicks that's not gonna translate on the main roster. So I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna keep Chase U as a thing that exists in the background, and every now and then some new talents are gonna come through Chase U. And because it's like the metaphor of a classroom, you can have like Chase U, the new class, like every year or every 6 months or whatever, and be like an in-story filter system.
And that's the thing because they can always, like you said, the next class, the class of 2026 now, it just keeps evolving. And he's great in that mentor role. No one's going to take him as anything more than, Mr. Chase, I think.
He's underrated in the ring.
He's great when he's doing what's needed. He doesn't have a lot of spontaneity. Like everything he does feels very pre-planned and premeditated.
But everything he does, he's a great tag guy.
It looks good, yes.
He's a great tag guy because he sets up his opponents or he sets up his partners to do something cool. And if he's playing a teacher, that almost goes with the character.
Yeah, no shit. So it's it fits him to an extent, but still, yet again, like I said, I agree with you. One, they can go ahead and just kind of repeat the school constantly, but two, I don't think he would work as anything but that now. If they put him out there and they tried to do like him as a sad, but it was not catching. Nothing was going on with it, so they just, you're back again. So, so far everything was very short tonight and pretty quick, but it gave us a little extra time for this, and this was probably the highlight of the night for me. I loved it. Obafemi comes out, he does his little strut. I love that. When he walks, you get excited. Yes, he did. And he said, he said both of them, Trick and Javon, had all these aspirations. You guys were going to try and dethrone the ruler. I said, I took your dreams, set them afire, and burned them all to ash. And
he said that to Trick, but when he started, he's like, I made the mistake of
undermining.
I said a lot of bad things to Javon Evans. That kid's gonna be something. It's not today.
Hold on, no, I'm so sorry. I don't cut you off like this often, but let's just said Alberto Del Rio got released by AAA. Oh my God. WWE is not fucking around, huh? Because we kept saying, well, he's their AAA mega champ. I'm looking to make sure that's legit. I trust Liz, but that's crazy. Stop it. That's insane. I mean, they were paying him well. I don't see anything yet, but Alberto Del Rio, no, I'm not seeing anything yet. Maybe it's too quick, but if that's the case, oh, that would be fucking hilarious. Let's see. She's got it. Wrestle vote status. That's the fake Wrestle votes. That's why. See, check your sources. But it'd be funny. It's the Wessel votes guy. He's a parody account. Nothing on this it says right here. Nothing on this is posted is real. Sadly, I had to investigate. You got my hopes up, Liz. God damn it! But that's all right. I won't kill you for it this time.
It'll be 10 times funnier if they
This
don't,
time.
because everybody will shit their pants.
I was hoping. I despise. I loathe that man. He was such a prick in person, and we had this signing. I don't even know if I really ever told this story. But back when I wasn't on the other show and I was dealing with all my health stuff, Danny and I, after going to AEW, we had gone to they had this, I forget the name of it, but they always do it like at our North Haven State Fair, and then they do it at the Capitol, all this shit. So they go ahead and they get everybody together. And they had so many awesome autograph signings, like locals, but they brought in bigger names. Sting was going to be one of the guys one day, and Del Rio was there, and he was just such a fucking prick to all the kids and just a miserable bastard. And I'm like, it's pretty much, it's a fair. It's all families and young kids. They see wrestlers, they're excited, and he was just rude to everybody. And I'm like, wow, it really does fit with you, huh? At least Just Incredible, tries to shake your hand while trying to steal your watch.
See, no, and I'm trust me, I'm not here to defend Del Rio. I just there's a really backwards part of my brain that thinks there are so many people that complain when there's nothing to actually complain about. That
when he was charged with kidnapping and sexual assault, that was enough to.
No. I mean about WWE in general.
Oh, gotcha. I'm talking about him. He's a scumbag and deserves to fucking burn for it.
No. Fair, 100% fair. You're talking to a big Page fan here. It's fine.
Absolutely.
But I'm just saying, for the people out there that complain over nothing, complain that a gimmick is offensive, complain that Bianca Belair doesn't
the Gulf of
win
America.
Enough. Yeah. Bianca Belair's streak is over. You know what that means? You know what the phrase "the streak is over" means? It means she's lost one match.
Exactly.
But all those people that complain about nothing, if that was WWE's way to say, okay, well, if you're going to bitch no matter what we do anyway, why don't we give you something to complain about? Now, I don't want to think that way. But people make me think that way. Anyways, getting back to the Obafemi thing.
Yes, Obafemi coming out like a true, just ultimate badass. Hold on, I'm trying to go ahead and pull this up for you, really, but let me go ahead and... All of my poor computer's files that are just marked everywhere. There's so much goddamn porn. Oh, there it is. This is the one you sent the other day. The streak is over. Belair Taker. This made me pop.
Trying to find something about Alberta.
No, this is even better. This is the one I died when you sent me that the other day. Oh, and then we of course got Becky Hogan.
Match.
I still want to know what Finn was doing with the banana hands. That shit creeped me out. God damn it.
And you love the I'm sorry, I know I'm diverting off.
You can divert as much as you want. I am all ears. That's what Into Somewhere Weekly is. We talk about everything.
Okay, because they can't.
Okay.
They can't say WWE's racist because look at how many wrestlers of color had really awesome moments this weekend, including the main event of NXT. Look, you can't complain about them being sexist. They featured over 29 women over 2 nights, right? So now they've put the two of them together. They've reached into the Kamala Harris word salad bowl, and they've pulled out misogynoir. It's racist
noir, misogynoir. Oh.
It's racist sexism.
I said, hi, good night, rest well. Look at that. Twinkle Teacher's coming in to see Mr. Pico. How sweet is that? Love is in the air.
And they're all
everywhere I look around.
And they're all just crying about Bianca and Naomi, even though Naomi was beaten by Jade, and if Jade lost, would that not have also been misogynoir? Sounds like a fucking French porno. Jake, they have to put it all together because if one victim card is good, 2 must be better.
Oh, it must be. Stack them up. Love is everywhere.
Watch out for the evil French supervision.
Everywhere I look around, Spaz, you gotta watch out for the noir, the Spanish Inquisition. Yeah, no, I could totally see it.
Anyways.
Just go ahead and have the menage a trois of the century.
While we're talking about how horribly WWE is, let's talk about this awesome segment with Obafemi and Trick Williams.
Yeah, it was incredible. So
After They
good.
just put over Javon Evans.
So they put over Javon, and goddamn, was this great. So good. So good. So, of course, Trick comes out, and he's all pissed off. He's telling him, no, whoop that shit. Just shut it down. Shut it down. The one thing I do appreciate and respect Trick for, he snuck in the fact that it's Obafemi's birthday, so the crowd would chant happy birthday. He's like, I don't
People had
care.
signs in the crowd.
Oh, did they see? I didn't see it.
Oh
But
my God, the best story.
no, I watched it. I was watching it
I'm-
on my phone, so I could use the VPN, so I could watch it on Netflix. And the signs don't always look crystal clear.
No,
So
I'm gonna have to go back a couple of segments though, because the best sign of the night when Ricky Saints and Lexus King were having their talking segment, Buddy's holding up a big sign in the back that said Lexus King shaves with a paintbrush.
oh, that's a goddamn good one. If you want a
And
really,
if you noticed it in the match too, Noam Dar like spit on his hands and he was trying to like wipe off the beard.
you just yeah, see if it stays. I had a laughing fit earlier. I'll derail you really quickly. I know it's getting late, but oh god, this was so fun. I was choking because I was just crying laughing, and it was so random. So my buddy Patrick went ahead and he was on the chamber review with me here. I went to his house to pick up some flowers. And you know,
I think I called in to you guys.
yes, you did. And I go and I visit my buddy. We're hanging out, and I'm talking with him. And I bring Milo ever with me. He's with me. So Milo loves Patrick. He's mauling him. He's kissing him. But this time, he's babysitting puppies. Not puppies. They're very tiny, like teacup dogs. So I always call them puppies. They're actually on the older side, but there's these two little tiny dogs. And you know, Milo's about yay big. So he's very friendly, loves other animals. He loves to see dogs. Like he would jump out of the moving car if he can get to him. He just loves animals, but usually never barks or anything. He's very good about it. And in the house he'll bark, but not out. Long story short, this little shit of a dog jumps off the couch and bolts right all the way across the living room, across the kitchen, slides, gets directly into Milo's face like this. And he's just staring at him for about 5 seconds. And then all of a sudden the dog went, "Ah!" and ran the fuck away. It didn't bark. It didn't like whine. It screamed. It was a straight up, "Ah!" And it just fucking booked the other way. I don't know if the dog was like super brave. I got this, and then by the time they got to Milo, they're like, "Oh, he's huge," even though he's fucking tiny. But this dog went ahead and just screamed like a human. I wish they had Ring cameras or something. That would have went so goddamn viral. Fucking, I've never heard a dog scream.
And the dog's name was Massage Noir.
Massage Noir. No, it was Mary. All right, so go
Anyways,
with it.
somebody-
So Joe Hendry
Somebody
appeared.
said his name, and he appeared
He did appear. We had to.
with his WrestleMania shirt.
He comes out looking great. Said, you could talk down to me all you want, Trick, but I did it in front of 60,000 people. I may have lost to an RKO, but I was at WrestleMania while you were in the stands. And he's like, and I'll be defending the title in LA at Rebellion Sunday. And then he said, I am turning my attention to Obafemi.
Oh yeah. Oh, pause. Horrible, terrible, selfish WWE allowing for the most obvious TNA pay-per-view plug ever.
Yes. Love it, though. They did such a great job to just spread that. Hey, don't forget about Sunday. Love it. That's a real partnership. They made sure to bring out their champion, who was also on WrestleMania, but to go ahead and say, hey, make sure you watch Sunday.
Shout out to KJ from the Wrestling for Life guys. As soon as Joe came out, and it's like, my God, for somebody who was buried the other night, he doesn't even have any dirt on him.
I love
guys.
it. They're
Go
so
check out
funny.
the Wrestling for Life guys. They're good. It's good times.
Then we had Joe. Basically, he said, "I'm turning to Obafemi," and Oba said, "Don't make the same mistake that Moose did." And then Trick got in between. They threw him out, and that was it. And then we saw Stax go ahead and kill Crucifino. So.
Yeah.
Then we get to Javon Evans. We talked about him and Miles Bourne facing Dark State. It was what it was. It was, obviously Dark State was going to win. It was a bit clunky because Javon's fast, Miles a bit more calculated in his moveset, and they weren't always clicking. They were trying, but it just didn't.
I'll buy that though because it's not one of his typical teammates.
Exactly. So they just
I'll buy them
felt
not working, but I don't know why
wonky.
I don't know why they necessarily brought these two together.
I think it was just something to do with Dark State. It's not terrible, but they took advantage, the fact that Tavon Heights is, not available.
Well, okay, but Tavion Heights and Charlie Dempsey were standing on the ramp watching the match.
That's why I'm being a wise ass. Like, why couldn't he be whatever? So sure. And then we went ahead, and after that we got Sean Spears backstage, and he basically just made some comment, and that was it.
It was
to
like
Ava.
we were catching the end of a conversation. He's clearly talked to Ava about something, and we're going to find out what it is next week.
Mm-hmm.
And then Inamura screwed over Ava and
Yes.
basically tricked her into giving them a sympathy tag title shot.
Which was great because he starts to cry, and then Brig shows up, and he's like, "What? What the hell you doing?" And it was funny. She's like, "I'll give him a title shot against Hank and Tank." Yeah. And then all of a sudden, was this the part where we heard? No, it was later with the attack, right? With the pipe and Trick flipping out and smashing shit.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
briefly, we'll just talk about it. I don't know really what happened. He started
screen
smashing
blacked out.
shit. The screen blacked out, so we couldn't see it. We could only hear it intentionally.
The announcers
And
told us later on in the evening that he had been asked to leave the building, but I think there was a glitch somewhere.
yeah, see, but they tried to make it seem like he hit, obviously Ava. That's what they were going for. So.
Oh dear.
Not the best way to kick him out, but whatever. It's all right.
Does it strike you as strange that the NXT after Stand and Deliver, all the champions were on the show except for Hank and Tank?
Yeah, that was a little odd, but I guess they're gonna have their, obviously their tag title, match next week against Inamar and Briggs. So hey,
Are they back in the,
that
are they
works.
back in the PC next week?
I thought so.
Okay.
I believe so.
I don't think I heard another location announced.
Yeah, not yet. So refresh the cam. Then we got our main event. Stephanie goes ahead and takes on Roxanne Perez, and we knew what we were going to get. These two can bring it. It was cool to see, Stephanie do the 619 and then the slingshot to the crossbody outside. She got her eat defeat move in, the face fucking finale, as you like to, have me say it. But I loved all of it. Obviously, we knew that Stephanie was not losing here. She basically does a really high back kick, and she stops and is able to counter the pop rocks from Roxanne. She tosses Rox to the right into the turnbuckle. That looked painful. And then she hits her with the big dragon screw, and then she takes her and does the what is SV? What is it? SVB?
SVD. I think it's
SVD.
just literally Stephanie Vacour driver.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I wasn't sure. So then, obviously, Julia comes out. Jordan Grace was on the other balcony, and they're all glaring at Stephanie, and that's how we close the show. So, when the hell is Roxanne being called up? When is anybody going to have an official call up? Like, a lot of this is just baffling. I hate when it's half in, half out. I don't want the water to be tepid. Either burn my ass or get me the hell out of there.
Did it seem to you
I don't mind if it's fluid. Like if you graduate from NXT and then you want to go back a couple 2 years later and you can go back and forth. That's fine. But when she's still an NXT roster member, Roxanne, but yet she was in the Rumble. She was in the Chamber. She's been in integral parts of the Raw shows. So.
The Rumble in the Chamber specifically, I didn't mind because they did have a good reason for it. NXT is represented in the Rumble. Roxanne Perez being the second last person out of the Rumble was what earned her a shot in the Chamber.
Mm-hmm.
So they made
and that's what it should be
sense.
every year. Not so much, but I think you either get a chamber shot or you go ahead and I forget what else I said to Sith, but I'm like, it more needs to be on the line with that. The runner-up, would get something worthwhile, and at least try and build off of that.
I think you take the last 6 participants from both Rumbles, bar the winners, obviously, and just those are your chambers because they're the first runner-up, second runner-up, third runner-up, fourth runner-up, fifth
Yeah.
runner-up, sixth runner-up. Right?
I like that. They're all.
But-
I'm dying over here. That was my thought with the elimination chamber. So I said, how would you feel going forward? The runner-up in both Royal Rumble matches is automatically entered into the elimination chamber. And when Cody's here, him and I, not tonight, but next time we get together soon, because we're gonna get out of here in a minute. It's very late, and I've kept you way too long. But we went ahead, and Cody and I were going to go over some of the booking ideas that Sith had went ahead and shown. So we'll see what happens about that when him and I get together. Yes, please.
Typically, the Raw, the SmackDown, the NXT after WrestleMania weekend is where we get a lot of debuts, returns, surprises, whatever. Did it feel to you when Julia came out to stare down Stephanie again, they were presenting her like she was in that role, except she's not debuting and she's not a surprise because we know she's on the roster already. So it was like, ta-da! But you didn't.
I think the ta-da was like, okay, now we know definitely she's a heel. Like that's kind of official now. I think that's what they were trying to be like more. It seems.
I think they took, and this is kind of ironic because I really loved it on Monday night. The big thing that went from Io Sky to Stephanie Vacour to Roxanne to Julia to Rhea Ripley, like that whole exchange.
It just worked.
That moment on Raw was the big NXT Women's Division moment.
Yeah,
and
it
wasn't here. Like what happened at the end of tonight's show was like the Temu version of that. But like, it's like at the end we ended the show with ta-da! We've got Julia, and it's like yeah, but we already had Julia. Like she's awesome.
I think it was less of a ta-da. Like I think it was more of like, oh, here's the big threat. Like everybody's after Stephanie. She doesn't have anybody defending her now. Everybody wants a piece of that title.
Think about that though, because what they showed, and they didn't even do it that well.
And she succeeded against everybody there already. So that's why if you're not doing one-on-one matches, you don't want to keep doing multi-person matches with this.
My point being though is they didn't even show because Jordan Grace was in the audience watching them as well, but they didn't light it very well. Half the people watching didn't even realize. They thought it was just a one-on-one stare down, right? So now you've got this stare down. Roxanne is out; she's already like fucked off for the evening, and there's a stare down that's like mostly Stephanie and Julia, but a little bit of like Stephanie, Julia, Jordan Grace. So it's like cool. You had the women's title match from Stand and Deliver minus Jada Parker.
Yeah, exactly. So
I don't know. This stuff happened on this show, like individual, like, hey, that's going to be a cool thing. That's going to be a cool thing happen. As a whole, like as a 2-hour show, this show had no momentum to me.
It had no momentum.
It had no continuous momentum, I should say.
Nothing was building into the next thing with this. A lot of it is focusing on next week. It felt like this show was just non-required viewing for the build for next week. And I had the notes before somewhere up here for next week. But all in all, it was kind of just, like you said, not lackluster, but not fully entertaining. They did have some things.
Title match next week. We've got a tag title match next week. Both of the title matches that this show was hinging on, I found to be disappointing. Not that the matches were bad, but nothing. Like we didn't move the needle. Nothing happened. The sand is still where the sand was. There's no footprints. There's no water at the end of the desert. My metaphor is falling apart now.
Yeah.
But like it just
I don't know if I came back too late, but
no, we're still chatting for a little bit. You know, we're fading fast, but
I got one thought that I'm going to leave you with, and then I am going to go.
Yeah.
Raw was awesome. NXT really felt like I think everybody's tired from WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah.
I think the biggest benefactor of having 2 nights off is going to be SmackDown on Friday.
Absolutely. And you know what, too, Spaz, is the fact that basically, like you said, it's not just fatigue, but a lot of what we saw was rehashed or reliance on things of old. We didn't have Hank and Tank out there for a celebration or doing like something new. It's all rematches. And so you know, we're getting Thea Hale and Fallon Henley again, like that kind of idea. I guess Noam Dar was a good surprise for some. For me, it was kind of
Well, this is what I was going to say, right? Like, we had main roster champions on NXT. That in itself is cool. Like we can't lose sight of that, right?
No, it's cool.
So we got that. It was kind of cool to see the footage from Bloodsport. Noam Dar returning and winning the cutback was cool.
The main event was good.
Cool.
Joe Hendry was a great surprise.
But it was like these are all like individual blips. Like there was no typically we come off of NXT and we're like, let me tell you about this, let me tell you about
Yes.
this, let me tell you
It
about
all
this.
one flows into the other. This didn't have that. It was
You
very
remember the-
disjointed and
I
just
remember texting
lacked
back
flow.
and forth with you. I remember texting back and forth with you the night that Jordan Grace randomly showed up and challenged Roxanne Perez, and
Yeah.
then at the end of the night, Ethan Page debuted,
Yep.
and there was other stuff to get us through. But
Exactly.
This is all like flatline and oh that's cool beep, oh that's cool beep,
And that's all you
oh
got.
that's cool beep.
It's
But
just
yeah, I think when we go into Friday, because there's going to be a lot of Cena Cody stuff. We've got the TLC match, which I'm throwing the guess out there right now. I'm pretty sure we're going to debut Fraxium, and they're going to be the fourth team in that match.
yeah. I think I agree with you entirely. I think it is definitely Fraxium. I think that they're going to go ahead and get involved and possibly win the titles too. And I don't think that that's like a crazy thing to say, because they've been the most exceptional tag team on many of the shows. So I was trying to see what they have up for. I know I saw it somewhere for next week's NXT as well. I had the list, but now I'm trying to find it. Here we go. Yeah, Ricky Saints and Lexus King. Tony D and Stax are facing off. Hank and Tank versus Briggs and Inamara. And that's it. So we'll see what happens for the build in the week. But overall,
kind of funny.
not a stack show. What would be funny?
If Roxanne came to fuck with Stephanie Vacour on Raw ahead of their match tonight, and Roxanne eventually ends up making her main roster debut on SmackDown because her trying to fuck with Stephanie Vacour didn't work. Because I would love to see, even though they're both heels and you got to do some fast talking to make it work.
Yeah.
Because she was the runner-up in the Rumble, I would love to see her come in on SmackDown and attack Charlotte.
Yeah, that would be fun. I would absolutely agree with that. I think that would be a damn good time.
Anyways, I'm gonna leave you here, buddy, because it's tired in here.
I've been staying away from scores more, but I think tonight, I'd like a 7.
If this was a normal episode of NXT with the surprises that we got, I would rate it a lot higher. But I expect more from NXT, and this is the episode, fill in the blank episode after WrestleMania. And
Yeah.
it wasn't there for me. I'm going like, if you wanted to give me a rating, I don't think I'm good with ratings anyway, but like 6 maybe.
Yeah, we'll see how it works, but yeah, it's like we can only do so much.
Everybody out there that can hear my voice, come find me, Spaz Phoenix Podcast, on all the things. You guys have a good rest of your evening.
Thank you so much. That's been Spaz. We'll give him a round of applause there.
Cheers.
But bam, baby. Thank you all for being
Cody,
so
I'm
kind.
tagging you in.
There we go.
Cody, I'm
Tag.
tagging you in.
Legal
All
tag.
right, I'll try to win it for us. But he's got that banana.
You're not tagging him in. I'm tagging you out. Ooh, baby. That's right.
He's got that banana already.
Like I said, I won't go overboard with the soundboard going forward. I had to fuck with it because I'm finally getting stuff set up. Bailey was doing an interview, and Solid Monster put this out. I'm gonna go ahead and change your input really quick just so you can hear this. So you'll be able to hear yourself for a second. I apologize, but I want you to go ahead and hear what Bailey says here. This she sounds super defeated, and it's a little depressing, but you got to go ahead and.
By the time this comes out, there's gonna be even.
Hey, what does that mean?
It's hard. It's hard. It's like sometimes I think it's my
Already, you can there's more to it, but you see how defeated she is. She's just very, and this is at WrestleMania, so we know that she was taken off. She's not really injured. They're saying she has a damaged shoulder, torn labrum, blah, 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 but that's all kayfabe.
That's what keeps me here, is because I don't go freaking kick the door down and be like, I'm not doing that. Why would I do that? I'm fucking Bailey. Like, why would I do that?
Same thing Karrion Kross said. Bill Goldberg told him, be a good soldier, be a good soldier, and look what it got him. And he got let go. So sometimes you do have to pull the punk and go out and be your own advocate and fight for yourself.
No, but I don't do that. I've whatever they give, and I've learned this from Cena. I've learned this from Ray. Whatever they give you is like, make it work.
Yeah.
So that's always like what I've tried to do.
But look who they're giving
And
it
I'll
to,
come up
Cena
with,
and
like-
Ray. That's the problem there. Like it was to the top guys, so they could make it work because they were given the most TV time. They had everything.
Cena and Rey Mysterio, she's saying?
Yeah, Cena and Ray.
So here's my issue with that advice, because Vince loved those two, so anything they wanted, they could get. So
Exactly. They literally, as we know, changed match outcomes and did things to even Mysterio. He is guilty as well. Maybe not to the extent of John burying mediocrity, but
if Ray wanted something, Vince was gonna say okay.
yeah, no,
You
absolutely.
get told whatever the creative is, and you're not happy with it.
She's like,
And
looks
then
like
I
she's
go
fighting
and I
back
say,
tears.
hey, what if we do this instead? And then they say no. I feel worse after that than I felt with the original creative. So I'm just like, okay, how bad do I want to feel today? Like, or should I just accept what they gave me and then make it as best as I can? And then they'll be like, damn, she made that work. Like, let's go this way instead.
I mean, she's not wrong, and it's so difficult to deal with. So it's a pain in the ass, and unfortunately, I feel for her. You know, but I wonder if they went to her, because we don't know. This is pure speculation at this point. What's that?
Apparently,
Yeah.
Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks, whatever you like to call her, followed Becky Lynch on Instagram, but I don't want her to speak out about this because she's guilty in her own right of burying people.
Yeah, no kidding. And it was a bunch of bullshit in that regard. Let me see if I stop the stream. Maybe it'll help you come in a little bit clearer. We went ahead and, you know, we reposted on the channel the Karrion Kross promo that he did, and it's of the same ilk. He's very offended, and he said himself, being a good soldier doesn't get you what you need. You have to fight for yourself, and YouTube wouldn't let me promote or share this.
It was from Bill Goldberg.
Because he swears.
2021, back when I was in the Twilight Zone, you know what I mean? I'm wrestling for gasoline. It was awesome. Let me tell you all about it. Bill goes, hey, Cross, you know what? You remind me a lot of me. I go, I think we have different styles, Bill, but I really appreciate that. Do you have any advice for me? He goes, you know what? You just got to be a good soldier. You want a viral moment? On behalf of all of the true fans of professional wrestling, guy with the suit and tie in the truck, go fuck yourself. That's from Killer Cross. No.
So powerful, so good, and that's why I can't wait to see how they capitalize on him. I mean, it gives me fucking chills. I'm just, some of the things that they have for us right now are top level, very exciting. You know, it's something you can sink your teeth into. But a lot of things as well. Like, I'm happy with the Seth and Braun Breaker faction. If Becky does join them, great. Mom, dad, they can maybe bring their kid in too to use as a weapon.
Here's my thing with this, though. The difference between the Karrion Kross promo and the Bailey shit on Chris Van Vliet. I think Bailey is just done with WWE or frustrated with them.
It sounds, yeah, because Bailey was more about feeling defeated and venting frustrations. Karrion was more about portraying himself and maximizing what he wasn't given by taking advantage of anything he could, a la interviews like that.
Match meant a lot to Bailey because if you hear the backstory between her and Liv, Bailey was like the biggest protector of Liv Morgan.
Yeah.
And I think she wanted to.
She wanted to go ahead and have that, yeah.
Like
and you know what? It's unfortunate that they couldn't, but it also comes down to.
We're like real life best friends almost, right?
From what I've heard,
So.
And what's sad, like I said too, is you go ahead and. So Bailey last year got the Rumble win, and then she went ahead and did the face turn, and taking on Io, and she won the title at Mania. So if they come to you, the office, Triple H, whoever, and say, hey, last year we focused on you, this year we want to give somebody else a moment, and we can't do it without you sitting out, is that okay? Or they just tell her, hey, you're sitting out. We don't know how it works, but could you do that for the company? And she did, I'm saying, but would that destroy your self-value and worth and how you see yourself? Or is it just you, hey, I understand that's the business? I'm sure I would take it very personal, and my anxiety would be all flared up, and I'd be saying the wrong things, but oh, Casey, I'll have to grab another link. We're not staying much longer, but we're only chatting for a few more minutes. I'm gonna pass out on the keyboard eventually. So,
but that would be for someone that hasn't gotten an opportunity before. Becky was in a world title match.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. It should have not been Becky, honestly. But that's what they wanted to do. That was the story they had for whatever stupid fucking reason. Blows me away.
I still want to know the point of just to capitalize on a Becky heel turn. Is that why they just had Liv and Raquel drop the titles for one night?
So from what I have been able to suss out, and from what they've also shared online and the post segments and whatnot, they were bringing Becky back, but there was no way in their mind that the fans would be willing to boo her upon her year return. She's been gone for over a year. So by the time we get her in here, they were worried that, oh shit, she's gonna get cheered, which she did. She got a great reaction, but they needed to turn her heel. So if they have her just beat the shit out of Lyra and they lose at WrestleMania, then that's terrible. You have a terrible temper and you went ahead. You didn't lose. You lost the match, but you know what I mean? It's your first one back. They got the titles. And then the next night, Lyra is the one at fault for losing them. So it's easy for Becky to say, I didn't get pinned. You got pinned. You cost us this. If
what would have been better is then.
I think it would have been so much better to have it probably the way they did it. I think it was about as good as it could be.
They could have brought Becky in weeks before Mania to build up this relationship with Lyra.
No, I would have kept it just as it is. Keep it a surprise, and then because if they bring her back before, they really got to lay it on thick. You don't need to. You don't want to post any signs. You just go ahead, bring her back.
Becky's
yeah.
Thinking this asshole only let me be champions for a day.
Exactly. So it's more fuel for the fire for her creative arc and storylines. I would be happy to see something come out of that, certainly. But basically, it's all just down to the fact of the fans wouldn't have really gotten into the moment if she just attacked Lyra because they lost the match, but they lost the titles now. The man wants to be the man. She wants the title. She wants to feel fucking powerful and be on top.
I guess it works for Liv and Raquel too because they capitalized on it and saying we're the first ever 4-time tag team.
And my main gripe was what at WrestleMania? The fact that Judgment Day wasn't gonna have the titles together, and now we got it. I would prefer Liv to be the IC title. Yeah.
We were like, what the hell is Dominic winning the Intercontinental Championship?
Yeah, why now? Exactly. Why the fuck now? It baffles me for sure.
Well, I would prefer them to drop the tag team titles because, like you said, I think Liv Morgan should win the Intercontinental title, the Women's Intercontinental.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And, so they can play the Liv Dom thing. They're both Intercontinental champions together.
Yeah. So if they had the titles together, it would be perfect, and I really think they could make this work. So honestly,
they still could. I mean, you could have her be Intercontinental champion and tag team champion at the same time. I mean, Lyra was for a day.
She was. I would have rather have seen Liv just have the IC title and then her and Dom have the IC title and that's it.
I don't think they should have ever put the tag team titles on Liv and Raquel. They're a great tag team, mind you. But I think Liv has just built to this top star level where she shouldn't be. And I'm not saying Raquel's holding her back either because Raquel's a good wrestler too.
No, we're losing you a bit.
But
there we go. Try talking again. There we go. Now we can hear you. You were cutting out a little bit.
But I was saying, I see people on Twitter saying Raquel's holding Liv back.
No, I don't believe that. Not at all. I think because she adds to the moveset, she adds to the overall, the aura that they have. She's a strong force to be reckoned with, and her being the muscle for Liv. But Liv is also no longer just a pushover. She's getting serious wins and victories on her own. She's taking people out.
She's great in the ring.
Yeah, they work so well together, and I absolutely enjoy. Yeah, I can't talk. Enjoy and appreciate what they've given us. Because Raquel without Liv is kind of nothing. She's just a really bad afterthought, sadly. Well, sir, you keep in touch with me.
That's why they
you think what?
Have them with the tag team championships because they want something for Raquel to do.
Yeah, that's what it is. Because then she wouldn't have a women's title unless you have her get the IC title and you have Io Sky drop the belt to Liv. Wouldn't be the worst thing depending on how they set it up.
Which
but
Liv has probably had one of the best runs with the world title.
Oh yeah, she made it special for that while. It was a lot of fun. I only wish she got to defend it a bit more.
is a better chase for the title than she is a champion, I think.
Yeah, she's always one too that kind of serves as because when she's the champ, she has to stop other people, but she can be vicious and attack and surprise and do all these crazy things when she's going for the title. So that's really the way you want it to happen. But
Dom and Liv would be perfect with the Intercontinental titles, matching Intercontinental.
oh yeah,
Because they're both like, we're the greatest Intercontinental champions of all time.
exactly, and
That's
you know it's
Dominic's
not
already
too
doing
far
that.
off. Absolutely. Well, bud, before my eyes go any more wonky and my brain explodes, tell the people where they can find you, and then tomorrow we'll try and meet up and cover some more.
Alrighty, you can find me over at Twitter at Judgment Day Era, and I'm having a brain fart, excuse me. And
Instagram.
you can have, Instagram. That's the app.
And that's
You can find me over on
Cody, right? Cody Need.
_CD_ 316.
Yeah, and that'll be in the description box down below. You got to have the 316. Oh, hell yeah, you got to.
Yeah.
Let us
Gotta
know your
represent
numbers in the
Stone Cold.
chat, folks. Tell us what you thought of NXT after Mania, or after Stand and Deliver, really, we should say.
I'm muted, right? So, like, all
You're
my other accounts.
yeah, exactly. You're good and off the stream, but thank you as always
so
for
no
hanging
one
out
can
with me,
hear
my friend. No, we're good. We're good. They don't know anything. Thank you guys for hanging out as always. It's been a great time reviewing NXT. Like I said, give it about a 7 out of 10. We're going to be live this upcoming Sunday for the TNA Rebellion pay-per-view. It's going to be a great time. Going to have some more other special guests. Not what you're thinking. Possibly someone everyone's going to be excited for, so you're not going to want to miss it.